In time, you will know the tragic extent of my failings.
Alright, hi, hello, hi. Excuse me, sorry, still got a bit of a tickle going. It's May, it happens. Alright, we will, of course, eventually want to level up some of our lower level characters in veteran dungeons. But we do have the Gentle Tide event, so we should probably take advantage of that. The leper is kind of an interesting class because, basically you only need to level up 4 skills. The rest of them function perfectly fine at, like, level 1. If you even use them at all. He kind of does one thing, but he does it very well. Unlike the Houndmaster, who does a lot of things that he actually still does very well. We did pick up this tin flute last time. But, I mean... it's not very good without its other part. Trinkets that increase accuracy are very helpful on the leper, like the Signet Ring. Alright, maybe the crucifix and Dismas's head is a little bit too much. The Grave Robber doesn't need as much accuracy because she can just buff her own with Dagger Toss. And the Antiquarian is the Antiquarian. It's just a sword mission, so we don't need to actually take very much with us. This is where antiquarians tend to excel on short missions. They can get maximum return because you don't have to take very many supplies. You can bring them on long missions to take advantage of some of their unique camping skills like trinket scrounge, but it's a little risky.
The smell of rotting fish is almost unbearable.
This composition should probably be fine in terms of healing. The Leper and the Houndmaster both have very potent self-heals.
Another mariner?
The Grave Robber is just quite dodgy.
Misfortune.
And the Antiquarian can patch people up if need be. That's actually a pretty good trait. Might as well take advantage of it. Stress can, of course, be an issue.
Disadvantage.
And I don't really have a way to reliably relieve it with this composition, but since it's a short dungeon, I don't foresee any particular complications. Ah.
Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all.
Well, the Grave Robber doesn't really need accuracy because she...
Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive. In Radiance, may we find
I'll just have
victory.
her handle any traps we come across, and hopefully that will make up the difference. Though we've got a Squiffy Gas right off the bat, so maybe this time we can see why they fuck you up so bad. Oh, you bugger. That's the real problem.
The slow death. Unforeseen. Unforgiving.
Alright, I should be able to just stun him and get rid of the guard, but it's too late.
The horror.
Yeah, that's why the Squiffy Gas is no good. You go from 0 to afflicted in like 30 seconds.
As the enemy crumbles. Such a terrible assault cannot be left unanswered.
I might have to end up switching Houndmaster positions so he can use Cry Havoc.
As the fiend falls, a faint hope
Horror
blossoms.
is basically a stress damage over time. Each turn you take 5 stress per round for 3 rounds. It's a lot.
mentality clarified in a single strike.
Don't bully the dog.
These nightmarish creatures can be felled. They can be beaten. As the light gains purchase, spirits are lifted, and purpose is made clear.
I am just a Rare Stones Emporium today. This configuration is less effective in combat, but I think stress heal is now something I need to worry about. Probably fine.
Reeling, gasping, taken over the edge into madness. A singular strike. Perched at the very precipice of oblivion.
What? Man, the cove sucks. Stop!
A hand's breadth from becoming unwound. Annihilated.
Again? I can't... Yeah, usually you do want to bring more blight, but this was just a short run. Or it was supposed to be.
A trifling victory, but a victory nonetheless.
Well, we might need to run. I guess it depends on how this goes.
The light, the promise of safety.
All right, have it your way.
Obliterated.
That's more like what I want to see from the leper. Alright, that one was a little underwhelming.
Decimated.
The Grave Robbers probably has some of the funniest irrational quotes. Come on!
This expedition at least
Literally
promises
doing nothing but
success.
howling at the moon in this cave. Alright, that should at least be enough to keep my others from getting afflicted. Alright, it looks like we don't actually have any more fights, so provided nobody has a heart attack, I think we're actually in pretty good shape. I've scouted everything out, so we shouldn't need any more torches.
A fortune
Oh, Jesus!
waiting to be spent.
Where the hell did he get that? It's not impossible that we get another fight, but I think that, that sort of thing usually only happens if you're backtracking. But I'll keep a close eye on
Terrors
the
may
map.
indeed stalk these shadows, but yonder, a glint of gold.
carelessness will find no clemency in this place.
I think that certain afflictions do give you a debuff to your chance to successfully de-arm traps. Alright, quest complete. Nobody died. Let's go.
Despite its morbid aspect, this twisted, cavernous maze seems almost traversable.
Not a bad haul for the effort expended.
Women and men, soldiers and outlaws, fools and corpses. All will find their way to us now that the road is clear.
Nobody I'm particularly interested in taking at the moment. Alright, let's see what we got here. I will do my best not to spam Fallen Guardian missions this time. They are really intent on giving me the Ancestor's mustache cream. Alright, let's head back to the ruins. I'm waiting for a short veteran mission to send some of my dudes on. Now let's go with the usual suspects. They are, purposefully, pretty good at the ruins. Dismas does usually get his head. But we do have the neat trinket set. I kind of want to try that out. Everything in here is pretty vulnerable to blight, so that would be overkill. Why can't I just take 2 blasphemous vials? Why won't you let me do that? Alright, might as well just tank up. I think I'm gonna replace tracking shot with pistol shot. Because it's pretty important to be able to reach the back row in the ruins because of the bone bearers. Similarly, there are some enemies that can mess with positioning here. So I think instead of Battle Heal, I will take Holy Lance. We should have more than enough healing with the Vestal. Reynauld is mostly just on either stress healing duty or doing lots of damage to skeletons. This is a long mission, so we do want to take basically everything we can carry. Though I don't have anything that's necessarily synergizing with Torchlight, so I think I'll only take 2 stacks. That should be enough if I don't use them obsessively, like I usually do.
Pace out the halls of your lineage once familiar, now foreign.
When you're doing exploration missions, I tend to favor getting into fights early.
Grievous injury, palpable fear.
Because if something goes wrong, it's easier to correct it then. Well, this is awkward. they're bullying the nerd again. I'm glad I gave her the protection head.
Decimated. A death by inches.
Busts are more valuable than crests at this point in time, so I think I'll change those out. We will want to make sure that it's not pitch black when we get into this corridor fight, because on Champion, there's a 15% that that fight would be a Shambler.
Obliterated. As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms.
And if I have to fight a Shambler, I would rather do it on my own terms.
Eradicated. This expedition at least promises success.
I'm using Wicked Slice on Dismas this time, because, as has been noted, skeletons do not often bleed.
Disadvantage. Give them no quarter.
Usually getting stunned will knock you out of riposte. Or maybe that's just... That could just be, cover.
Well struck.
Another reason why I can sort of afford to take your torches with this party is that I have options to raise the light level without them.
Great is the weapon that cuts on its own. The slow death, unforeseen, unforgiving. Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles. As victories mount,
Let's
so
see.
too will resistance.
Oh, how did I end up with another anti-venom? I'll gladly exchange that extra for another stack of bus. Get that sanitarium fully upgraded so I don't have to spend all the money forever. Ahoy! Or should I say, washoy?
Precision and power.
A devastating blow.
Fair exchange is no robbery. Working it out so they die to dots would be a good way to keep them from getting revived.
Annihilated.
But I don't really care if a bone rabble gets revived because bone rabbles suck.
Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive. Death waits for the slightest lapse in concentration.
Masterfully executed.
You can sort of manipulate bone bearers so that they intentionally revive weak-ass enemies like the bone militia and sort of milk more turns out of a fight before reinforcements come, if you are into that sort of thing.
Continue the onslaught. Destroy
shoot.
them all.
What to toss for jute? You probably won't need these bandages.
A fortune, waiting to be spent.
A full stack of gold is probably worth tossing something. I don't need that anti-venom either. I take a lot of these supply items where I don't need them to out of force of habit. It's wasteful, but, you know, be prepared, etc., etc. I guess we want to go around the outside.
Wealth beyond measure, awarded to the brave and the foolhardy alike.
Aha! Books! They're not scary anymore. Well, they're still pretty scary. But that could have been worse without the Athenaeum. I will probably stun these two. Keep stress under control. Get smooshed.
Slowly, gently. This is how a life is taken.
Alright, with that, both the stress damage dealers are dead. Hey, no bully.
A momentary abatement. Prodigious size alone does not dissuade the sharpened blade.
More bus. Oh, thank you very much for subscribing with Twitch Prime, Jeff. I appreciate it. I think we'll go ahead and camp here.
A moment of respite. A chance to steel oneself against the coming horrors.
There we go. We're mostly back to normal, and I can make up the difference with Inspiring Cry. Crusaders camping skills are so good. Not all sarcophagi can be winners, I guess.
If only treasure could staunch the flow of otherworldly corruption.
In Champion Dungeons, the enemy focus targeting a particular character with stress debuffs is annoying, but it's also not, it doesn't always work to their advantage. I mean, it does most of the time, but not always.
The wounds of war can be healed, but never hidden.
The dot domino effect is really satisfying.
Remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
Alright, let's see. We should probably take the ruby over the gold stack.
A handsome reward for a task well performed.
So many busts all over the place. I like it. That is 1,500 gold. What should I ditch for it? I'm running out of things to reasonably ditch. I guess the key is, even if we do find a secret room, we're not going to have room for it. Well, this is just kind of pathetic.
Powerful blow.
Well, looks like I made the right choice in
victory,
taking the emeralds.
but a victory nonetheless.
That replaced Weapon Tinker, which is actually fine. The Weapon Tinker and Armor Tinker skills are only useful until you get fully maxed stuff. After which, they are not useful at all. Oh, of course we got a secret room. My statement still stands that I don't think we'll have room for any of the sparkling trapezohedrons, but... if it turns out that later on we find a key, maybe we'll go back and see what's up. The secret room is right down there. We passed it. I feel like we actually scouted out that hallway, so I'm not sure why. The bone shield wall warding the bone shield wall. I mean, it will take forever for them to die, but... oh, come on, Dismas, hit something.
Defend the icon!
Alright, he should die next turn from the flight. I should probably... Duelist Riposte is actually just, like, flat out better than Pistol Shot at this point. I should put Tracking Shot back on for the accuracy boost. Going to potentially not attack, because if I do, that will leave a corpse. And corpses are bad news. Advice from me to you. Staggering!
A decisive pummeling.
Well, it would be deeply foolish of me to not take my shovels. So I think we'll just have to leave this stuff be for now. Keeping the sapphires has potentially higher profit margin, but is also more unlikely to pay off, so making a calculated decision.
Finding the stuff is only the first test.
This
Now
is
it must be
garbage,
carried
and I think
home.
I already have it anyway. Motherfucker. Oh well, it's only a net loss of like 250 gold. My kingdom for an inventory mod.
Teros may indeed stalk these shadows, but yonder, a glint of gold.
I'm sort of kind of fishing for a key. Because I was foolish and tossed mine. Fool! I've noticed an interesting thing about
Good vision.
riposte
The
skills.
end approaches.
So that tempting goblet hit, so Dismas should have suffered stress damage, but he did not because he killed the offending skeleton with a riposte. So I think that the way things are calculated is sort of like after hit effects like stress are calculated after. Usually not like a thing, but it's worth noting, I guess.
Be wary. Triumphant pride precipitates a dizzying fall.
Oh, we're hurting a bit, and I need to dump some inventory, so I think it might be time to camp again. I'll also refill the torch.
A spark without kindling is a goal without hope.
That will make Renault quite tanky.
As the light gains purchase, spirits are lifted, and purpose is made clear.
Alright, in the interest of not starving to death, I'm going to leave that hallway alone. There might be something fantastic in it, but more likely there's nothing but bullshit. I'm beginning to really resent sapphires. Of course, the stealth guy is in the front row. I don't want to deal with you right now. I feel like I should say... This game has really good sound design. Like, when attacks miss and stuff, there are unique sound effects for that, and they're all really good. Like how there's just sort of a impotent clank when a sword slash misses, or like when illuminate or dazzling light misses, it makes this sort of like sound. Another emerald for the
Foolish
pile.
horrors. brought low and driven into the mud.
I've learned my lesson about tossing sapphires for gold. Just kidding. I will never learn my lesson. Alright, since we only have to explore 90% of rooms, we are getting pretty close to the end of this mission. Come on. Your head can't be that hard. How do you stun a skeleton? I guess, like, maybe you knock its head off? Then it has to run around chasing its head like an idiot? I think in the case of, like,
How quickly the tide turns.
blinding gas, it's more of like the stun is represented because they can't see anything, and it takes them a while to, like, reorient themselves.
The wounds of war can be healed, but never hidden.
Die! Alright, sure, maybe they don't have eyes, but this is Darkest Dungeon. Nobody has eyes. See? No eyes. No eyes. Under the goggles, no eyes. Under the helmet, no eyes. That's better.
These nightmarish creatures can be felled. They can be beaten.
I have thought about installing the Googly Eyes mod. I do enjoy a Googly Eyes mod. I'm actually going to take this. I have designs for it. Alright, so trip report. Even with the Athenaeum, not worth it to read books. Books are still scary. Oh yeah, Dismas frequently misses. He's kind of a boaster.
A dizzying blow to body and brain. Mortality clarified in a single strike.
Guy keeps critting and I don't appreciate it. I like how that did 0 damage, but he still got stressed out by it. Oh no! I got touched by a tentacle!
The ground quakes. Seize this momentum.
Well, I certainly
Push
don't
on
need blood.
to the task's end. Dazed, reeling, about to break.
So, I know that I just complimented this game's sound design, and I stand by that, but the ruins sound really weird when they're low light. Like, it sounds almost like there's a fucking helicopter going on in the background.
A singular strike. Success so clearly in view. Or is it merely a trick of the light?
Alright, so, we did find a key, and that's good. But we are literally as far as we possibly can be away from the secret room. And we don't even really have room for the puzzling trapezohedrons. Because the jute are actually more valuable than the shiny gems for some reason. So I think I'm going to make a compromise and use the key to just open this chest and then go home.
Hacks
Holy
laden
moly.
with loot are often low on supplies.
I actually want to keep the debuff amulet. I have designs for it. Mostly I'm just worried about, since I have no torches left, I might run into a reinforcements respawn in the hallways, and that might be a shambler and that might kill me.
The great ruins belong to us, and we will find whatever secrets they hold.
But yeah, we got 40,000 gold for that quest and like a shit ton of busts, so I'm pretty satisfied with how it turned out.
We dug for months, years, an eternity, and we were rewarded with madness.
Selling 2.0 can't find 750 gold after donning all their clothes. I'm sure we've all been there.
Experimental techniques and tonics can overcome things a sharpened sword cannot. The front line of this war is not in the dungeon, but rather inside the mind.
Alright, the sanitarium is now completely upgraded. This will save us quite a bit of money in the long run. Though that does mean I have no more busts to upgrade the Abbey. But fuck the Abbey. The Abbey is bullshit. Oh, Alright, never mind. He's a fucking kleptomaniac. Get the fuck out of here. So somehow I have 3 Eternity's collars. I should probably fix this. Alright, tell you what. I am going to fire Voisin.
Suffer not the lame horse, nor
And
the
hire
broken man.
Donger. And he is immediately going into the sanitarium to stop being a fucking thief. So is Goddard. The fuck out of here. Leave. Away with you. Alright, back to the cove. Yeah, one of her trinkets is just her missing hand. It's kind of metal. Fuck it. Some more bleed chance can't go wrong in here. Violo sand. Alright, we have the Unspeakable Commune and Dark Ritual. These are the most important occultist camping skills. We have a fairly reasonable ability to... we don't need Demon's Pull. I'm gonna take Weakening Curse instead. Maybe she was just carrying it around with her, like some sort of grisly souvenir. And she only thought to use it as an eldritch trinket after she killed some snakes. I don't know.
I need respite.
You're in the fucking transept or whatever. Just fucking do your thing. Cannot stand these whiny ass heroes. You know what? Fuck it. I'm bringing laudanum because squiffy gas suck. Just the worst. Alright, time to deposit some more pineal glands for whatever the fuck reason.
Precision and power.
The Shield Breaker, like, when you just look at the numbers and what she can do, she is basically the best class in the game.
Grievous injury.
It's just that she has a big drawback in that you have to fight snakes.
Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all. The blood quickens. massive pummeling.
And snakes, it should be noted, are pretty tough opponents.
Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive.
Ah!
Foolish
Sapphires.
powers, brought low and driven into the mud.
I cannot escape them. Alright, nothing down this way that's relevant to our quest. I think you always at least have a turn before these guys explode.
As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms.
Since I have the necessary stress healing available to me, I'm gonna try to use the Abomination's abomination form more liberally.
Slowly, gently. This is how a life is taken.
Press this advantage. Give them no quarter.
These fucking pineal glands. I'll just leave this be.
Wealth beyond measure. Awarded to the brave and the foolhardy alike.
Alright, I'll toss the anti-venom. I probably don't need the anti-venom. There will be no snakes this run.
Singular strike.
I agree. Oh, he's almost dead. That's annoying. Alright, have another spear.
Prodigious size alone does not dissuade the sharpened blade. Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
I do need bus, don't I? Actually, no I don't. Fuck bus. I fully upgraded the sanitarium. I don't need that shit. Ooh, coral. I do need that shit.
bring gold, trinkets, and baubles, paid for in blood.
The Abbey can eat my entire ass. I don't give a shit about the Abbey. Get fucked, idiot! Alright, he's dead next turn. So is he. I know exactly where to focus my efforts. Wow, these guys are terrible.
Masterfully executed.
Great is the weapon that cuts on its own. These nightmarish creatures can be
I already
felled.
have one of
They
these,
can
and it's
be
not a great
beaten.
trinket anyway. Just fucking rub this pineal gland all over the statue. I don't know what the rest of the dungeon looks like, so I'm gonna save my shovel. I might need him. Oh, what the hell? Why didn't I see that before? Alright, well, I'll keep that in mind for later then.
Well struck.
Yeah, good job. You barfed on that guy real good.
Impressive.
A time to perform beyond one's limits.
Abyssal Artillery is not the strongest ability in the game, but it's still pretty strong, especially in the Cove. It's situational in its application. A lot of the times it doesn't do much. The tragic heal but bleed. At least it wasn't a zero heal bleed infliction. That's the worst.
A powerful blow.
Ooh, rubies.
Seize this momentum. Push on to the task's end.
I will come back to this. It confers a buff that lasts until camp. Therefore, I should camp first. Be gone from my inventory, you vile thing. map was useless because I already scouted out this entire
A handsome
area.
reward for a task well performed.
Alright, we know that the last ward is somewhere down in those unexplored rooms. I almost blocked onto that trap because I was busy talking about wards. See, I am learning. Slowly but surely, I'm learning from my mistakes. Ah, that's sort of unfortunate. Oh well. I might not feast just because of that. I'll just go with full.
Gathered close in tenuous firelight and uneasy companionship.
There's enough dungeon left that it's definitely possible that I get 3 hunger checks. Thanks to bringing along the Abomination, I have a little bit of extra respite points to work with because I bought that bonfire, which, unlike the Athenaeum, is actually sort of paying for itself. Books are still scary! Books are a trap! The armor piercing will actually be real damn good in here.
The match is struck. A blazing star is born.
Now you have plus 18% damage on the shield breaker until camp, and that's pretty good. Oh, actually, this is a good Abomination trinket. I feel comfortable in tossing the keys now. Holy water, too. You always want to keep... See, I'm glad I only went for full. You always want to keep at least a couple of medicinal herbs on hand in the cove because of the coral that can remove negative quirks. Or the fish carcasses that give you like 1 billion loot.
A devastating blow.
It should be noted that the
Slow
Weakening
death.
Curse
Unforeseen.
actually does more damage than the Vulnerability
Unforgiving.
Hex. Like, it still does shit all for damage, of course, but... it's worth noting if you're in a situation like that and you just want to finish somebody off.
Remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
Once again, saving my shovels until I have a better idea of what the dungeon looks like. fuck, idiot trap. You think you can just spring on me? Do you know who I am?
A fortune, waiting to be spent.
The light, the promise of safety.
My food-related foresight surprises and delights even me. Oh, that sucks! That makes me feel bad inside.
Weakened.
I will have to play him a song at some
How
point.
quickly
Oh, ow!
the tide turns.
Let's try this again. Better. Be gone!
Inspiration and improvement.
See, Grandpa can be very supportive when he wants to be, which is not very often.
A trifling victory, but a victory nonetheless.
Alright, well, we know for a fact now that there are no obstructions that need shovels. Turns out we don't need that laudanum either. No squiffy gas this time around. Alright, time to leave. You don't just catch scurvy! Also, I'm pretty sure fish can't get rabies. What have you people been doing in here?
the frothing waters subside, the advantage is ours.
Prize bloodletting was a bit too effective. Minus 25% bleed resist. What, in the, like, the 24 units of food that I took, nobody thought to pack a fucking orange? Are you kidding me? Okay, good. I finally made enough progress in the cove to get to the next boss. The Beguiling Siren. We have a very specific team composition for this. I'm going to specifically not take the Wounding Helmet because I want to have full access to my move skills. And there are some other considerations as well. Alright, so, Gifford gets the mustache cream because he has a magnificent mustache. Fitzlin gets the Baron's Lash because she has the Crimson Curse. And the Fusion's Matchstick because I feel like it. The Antiquarian gets nothing related to debuffs. That's part of my strategy. She'll just get her usual set trinkets. And the Bounty Hunter gets the debuff Amulet and the Ethereal Crucifix. We also want as much holy water as we can carry. Also take some blood because Fitzlin has the Crimson Curse still. Because that coward fanatic will not come and fight me.
Under the blood moon, I lured my wide-eyed prey to the pier's edge. Before she could properly appreciate her position, I clamped on a manacle, chaining her to the leering idol. A small push was sufficient to send both into the icy waters. And when at length the tide receded, jewels of the most magnificent grandeur lay scattered upon the shore. I always wondered what became of the unfortunate little waif.
I'm pretty sure that you just told us what became of the unfortunate little waif. Yeah, Grandpa got up to some shit back in the day.
Packs laden with loot are often low on supplies.
Accomplished basically nothing.
Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all.
Fool! You cannot debuff me. I am invincible. You can stun me, though. That's definitely something you can do. The reason I am being so intent on stacking debuff resistance, I mean, is because of the boss.
Obliterated.
The boss's entire gimmick relies on debuffing you. So if you neutralize that, then it's basically a non-fight. That's actually sort of unwise of him. It actually exposed him to getting hit with the Arbalest shit.
The slow death, unforeseen, unforgiving. As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms.
Oh boy, okay. We will need to make room for some of this. That seems sufficient. We don't need to go up there at all. I am 100% positive the boss is not in that direction.
another mariner?
I have found that when you are
Another
presented with
misfortune.
negative quirk removal curios, you should try and focus on removing quirks that are locked, not necessarily quirks that are severe. Like, yeah, it would be good to remove Kleptomaniac with one of those, but it would be better to remove something that was locked and then just spend some money back in time to get rid of the Kleptomania.
In Radiance, may we find victory.
Just from an efficiency standpoint.
Finding the stuff is only the first test. Now it must be carried home.
Alright, I have enough debuff resistance that I don't think I will need the full complement of holy water. I'll toss my keys. Once you've found the secret room, the need for keys is sort of much mitigated. I will want my bandages. That is definitely something that is a true statement. I'm probably going to run into like 2 squiffy gas after this, but worth it.
The way is lit. The path is clear.
Oh, well, not a
You
squiffy
require
gas,
only
but
the
almost as
strength
bad.
to follow it.
Curse you!
The horror.
I just tossed my laudanum!
Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive.
She must have the blood. Very well, have the blood.
A death by inches.
The way she sort of hunches over the sensor there kind of looks like she's huffing it. Maybe that's the idea. Huffing the
Growing
sensor.
Uncertainty. The birthplace of dread. Seize this momentum. Push on to the task's end.
Alright, not too much longer before the boss.
Mind that such missteps are the exception, and not the rule.
Should probably get rid of that dodge debuff. It's nasty and it lasts forever.
Masterfully executed.
Hell. Oh, you shithead! I will fucking kill you! Eventually.
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
Power of the blood is fairly significant, yes. This fight kind of went south, but I think we'll be okay. I mean, there's no world in which that actually makes sense, but whatever. Bloodlust, etc., etc. She's gonna go up and club him to death with the damn crossbow. Ouch, my ass.
Press this advantage. Give them no quarter.
Well... That's not good. Okay, we're fine.
Death denied. For now.
Phew! Everything is under control.
A trifling victory, but a victory nonetheless.
We are, however, gonna go ahead and camp now. We might not have the boss last till the boss... holy shit, that was butchered. We might not have the buffs last till the boss fight, but we're a little bit stressed and hurt, so I think this is a good time to do it.
Huddled together, furtive and vulnerable. Rats in a maze.
Turns out we are mostly just healing and removing debuffs, so... we wouldn't have had many buffs anyway.
The darkness holds much worse than mere trickery and boogeymen. The light, the promise of safety.
Made a slight mistake there by not clicking on the chest of the antiquarian.
A powerful blow.
Okay, that works for me.
Annihilated.
Decimated.
Definitely just a vessel for the blood, but it's okay. I might need my shovels. I can probably ditch the herbs. I don't really want to fight the boss in pitch black, so I want to keep my torches. Ah, hell, whatever.
Ancient traps lie in wait.
Sure wish I had my herbs right about now.
Unsprung and thirsting for blood.
Oh well. I'm not clairvoyant.
A handsome reward for a task well performed.
Okay, time to fight the boss.
The aquatic devils have remade the poor girl in their image. She is their queen and their slave.
Here is where my grand strategy comes into effect. Fool! I am invincible! By stacking debuff resistance and the holy water, I'm basically immune to her main gimmick. Just fucking shoots him with an arrow. Fucking hell.
A decisive pummeling. Precision and power.
It's not working. I'm sorry. Oh, that's working, though.
And now, the true test. Hold fast, or expire.
All better.
Well
struck. Hideous matriarch, vile queen of the aphotic depths. She has no place in the sane world.
So aside from a slight scare with the bounty hunter and the fucking fishmen, that went pretty well.
As life ebbs, terrible vistas of emptiness reveal themselves.
It's incredibly cove for this fish to have done way more to me than the boss itself.
This expedition at least promises success.
And there we go! Siren's dead. For victory, we get the Siren's Conch, which gives you plus 50% debuff resist. It would actually have been really helpful to have this for the fight, but sometimes that's just how it goes.
To the resourceful thief, burials are merely ephemeral affairs.
Regrettably, our only grave robber is currently level 6 anyway, so... But there she is, flaunting her newly gained riches for all to see. Alright, what is next on the docket? Oh, this is a... Well, actually, no, that's fine. Alright, it's time for a very goofy party composition. We got the fucking double man-at-arms. It's not a typo, it's just a regional dialect. We're actually going to go for more of a DPS-oriented build because the Blight chance is not that useful in the Weald. Instead, we're going to take advantage of the fact that a lot of enemies in the Weald are eldritch. That's a reasonable ring. I'm not sure if we have one of those. So for this run, we are demoing a very interesting man-at-arms build that I like to call the Position 4 General.
Our land is remote and unneighbored. Every lost resource must be recovered.
So the primary purpose of the Position 4 General is to yell a lot. Basically, one of the less appreciated aspects of the Man-at-Arms is that he has some very powerful party-wide buffs in Bolster and Command. So from the back row, he can just sort of yell a lot and everybody fights better. He can also use cover from there. The only problem is he is literally incapable of doing damage, so the rest of the party really needs to pick up the slack in that case. I feel like he should at least be able to use, like, Bellow from the back row.
Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive.
Jeez, dude.
This expedition at least promises success.
Alright, no quest objects down there, so there's no reason for us to investigate. I feel like this would actually be a really good, almost viable build. If, like, the Man-at-Arms could at very least activate his riposte from Position 4.
Nature herself, a victim to the spreading corruption.
They made a specific trinket for this build,
misintent.
where he becomes super tanky and easy to heal when he's in the back row. So I'm not sure why he can't actually do the Man-at-Arms thing. It's a mystery. Ah, jeez. Shouldn't use that shovel. Bonk. Keep yelling!
As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms.
Oh man, now they're both in the back row.
Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all.
It's gonna take a little while to get this giant down with his current party composition. Well, joke's on you, that actually helped. A lot of yelling going on in this party. With this configuration, I now literally only have Man-at-Arms taking damage.
Sedated.
I would not necessarily recommend that you take this party somewhere, but it's what I had on hand.
A dizzying blow to body and brain.
Soothed. Sedated.
Be wary. Triumphant pride precipitates a dizzying fall.
In Radiance, may we find victory.
It sucks, but I think we have to toss the emerald. It's extremely dumb. Like, ideally, you would want to have your armchair general in a party that does more damage. Like, the double Man-at-Arms is something I'm only doing at the moment because it's what I have. Christ alive. If I find another shovel.
A handsome reward for a task well performed.
And this isn't even necessarily like the optimal configuration for it. It's just I'm doing it because it's funny. And it's a veteran level dungeon, so who cares?
A momentary abatement. Death waits for the slightest lapse in concentration. Unnerved, unbalanced. Destroyed. Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
The shield breaker is also fairly bad at taking out lots of little enemies like this. Like, Impale is okay for it, but just using her normal abilities, it takes a while because they don't do that much damage to unprotected targets.
The blood quickens. Press this advantage. Give them no quarter.
Hey, bleed.
Seize this momentum. Push on to the task's end.
The way is lit. The path is clear. We require only the strength to follow it.
I'm feeling like maybe camp next room? Definitely camp, especially if this fight goes poorly. I would sort of like a mod.
Such a terrible assault cannot be left unanswered.
That made it so you could use Retribution in position 4, just to make this build a little bit more cohesive and viable.
A time to perform beyond one's limits.
A momentary abatement.
think it's kind of weird that Judgment is literally the only lifesteal attack in the game that a player can use. I feel like there is potential for fun mechanics with that.
A brilliant confluence of skill and purpose. A devastating blow.
This is fine.
The ground quakes.
That barely tickled. Just keep yelling.
Prodigious size alone does not dissuade the sharpened blade. A moment of respite. A chance to steel oneself against the coming horrors.
Oh, butts. I forgot to actually equip the nighttime ambush one. Oh well, always lucky. Just hyper buff everybody. Even if we do get ambushed, it'll be fine.
Terrors may indeed
not.
stalk these shadows, but yonder, a glint of gold.
Ringing ears. Blurred vision. The end approaches.
Oh no! That's actually fine. Having a damage buff on her suits my purpose as well.
Decimated.
Compassion is a rarity in the fevered pitch of battle. eradicated.
Hey, a shovel. That was totally
Foolish
worth.
horrors. Brought low and driven into the mud.
Need that shit.
Mind that such missteps are the exception, and not the rule.
I mean, that was objectively my best play. I just got a little unlucky.
Inspiration and improvement. Exposed to a killing blow. A momentary abatement. Dazed, reeling, about to break.
I feel faint.
Mortality
Stop it!
clarified in a single strike.
This cannot continue. These fights are taking forever. I've made such an error here.
monstrous size has no intrinsic merit, unless inordinate exsanguination be considered a virtue.
Alright, well, that only took 5 years. Please let the quest items be around here soon. Alright, 1 miss on 70, sure.
Carelessness will find
2?
no clemency
I'm
in
a little
this
upset.
place.
The light, the promise of safety.
Alright, well. If I find a key, then sure, maybe we'll backtrack.
The match is struck. A blazing star is born.
Sometimes a tree is just a tree. Oh,
The
fuck off!
sparkling eyes of youth, twisted and made merciless.
Words cannot describe how little I want to see you right now.
Masterfully executed.
Alright, well, I guess we're gonna be here for another hour. At least I have the shield breaker with me so I can bypass a lot of the really annoying stuff. I think that since I can just bypass guards, it might be the best play to just leave these 2 heads up.
The wounds of war can be healed, but never hidden. Grievous injury, palpable fear.
Or maybe he'll just go back to full health because of lifesteal. I find these situations to be very unagreeable.
A decisive pummeling.
Get fucked, idiot!
Powerful blow.
Let's see if I can kill him before anybody gets afflicted.
Impressive.
well struck.
I guess all of those stacking commands are starting to pay off.
Singular strike.
Predator is often
Alright, well,
blind
that
to its own
arguably took
peril.
less time than the last fight, so I can't really complain. Now I just have to bust through this idiot man-at-arms. Because I guess we needed 3. Alright, now he can literally do nothing, because he's a fucking idiot. Might as well heal up a little, I guess. Dude is gonna lose his voice by the end of the dungeon.
Precision and power.
Finally.
Remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer. As the light gains purchase,
Fucking you remind
spirits
yourself,
are lifted,
asshole.
and purpose is made clear.
Alright, we're done, and we get a caregivers convention to save a bunch of money.
These medicines will prevent the outbreak of epidemic at our struggling hamlet.
Would have been nice if I had found a key there, but no such luck.
The preponderance of rare and exotic injuries makes this place perfect for the study of suffering.
Perfect. Alright, who's got good quirks? Get that sweet and pale damage. If only I had more patient cells. either go back to the cove or go back to the ruins. At this point we have most of the trinkets in the game, so which one we want to do is pretty much entirely up to personal preference. And I haven't taken my flagellants anywhere in a long time. That's because I keep going to the ruins in the cove. Alright, trinkets. I think we're gonna go with a more utility-based abomination build this time. The Hellion and the Bounty Hunter will do more than enough damage. Oh, we have no nighttime ambush skills, but whatever, I'm gonna live dangerously. Mostly gonna bring a little bit of extra food this time, because we don't really have a dedicated healer. The Hellion and the Abomination both have self-heals, so hopefully I'll be able to keep things under control. If not, we can always run. What are the chances I'll need that?
Can the defiled be consecrated? Can the fallen find rest?
This map is uncomfortably big. Honestly, I leveled up Barbaric Yop, but I think I'll keep If It Bleeds. Even though it won't cause bleeding damage, it will still let me hit position 3. I have more than enough stuns with everybody else. Alright, I put the wounding helmet on.
Unnerved, unbalanced.
Holy shit,
waits
stop!
for the slightest lapse in concentration. Of war can be healed, but never hidden.
Defend the icon! Great is the weapon that cuts on its own. The slow death, unforeseen, unforgiving. Alright, well that was a rough first battle. This is why I brought the extra food. An interesting thing about these unholy altars is that you can actually see one of them in the Ancestor's bedroom in the opening cutscene. The more you know. You can also see a tentacle idol. Fortunately, you can't see a Shambler's altar. That would be really funny.
The way is lit. The path is clear. We require only the strength to follow it.
I didn't even know marks could miss. What is wrong with you?
Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles. Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive. Packs laden with loot are often low on supplies.
May wish to camp soon, depending on how things go. They're going poorly.
As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms.
Alright, he will die to damage over time. Stun this guy.
Slowly, gently. This is how a life is taken.
Heal up a little.
A death by inches.
Alright, now we just got this idiot.
Annihilated.
Remind yourself that overconfidence is a slow and insidious killer.
Okay, I think it's time to camp.
A spark without kindling is a goal without hope.
Let's hope for no nighttime ambush.
And
Fucking
now,
hell.
the darkness holds dominion. Black as death.
Eat my entire ass. Fortunately, this isn't a very threatening enemy composition.
Grievous injury. Palpable fear.
Unless something like that happens.
A singular strike.
Alright, he didn't leave a corpse, so he can't be revived.
Press disadvantage. Give them no quarter.
I don't actually know if he can revive non-skeletal enemies. I guess this will be an experiment. Oh, he can't.
Teetering on the brink, facing the abyss.
Oh, he can. He just didn't for some reason.
limbs obey.
I don't understand the enemy AI in this game sometimes.
Of war can be healed, but never hidden. Ghoulish horrors, brought low and driven into the mud.
Alright, well, I think we're still in a better spot than we were when we camped. So that's something. Swear to God, though, if the collector pops up again, I'm gonna be mad.
Decimated.
It might be ambitious.
Mortality clarified in a single strike.
It shouldn't die. I'm gonna try and aim to beat the game tomorrow. Judging by the fact that I have 4 viewers, I don't think people are maintaining interest in this game indefinitely, and I don't really blame them.
Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all.
After I do that, I will have to think about what I'll do next. Maybe install some mods or switch to a different game.
If only treasure could staunch the flow of otherworldly corruption.
Nothing to do while this guy is stealth. Fortunately, since he's in position 1, he can only do his shitty rush shot over and over again.
Eradicated.
These nightmarish creatures can be felled. They can be beaten.
All right. Mrs. Spot has been removed. I don't know why I keep doing that. I spent the money on Death Mayhem.
As the light gains
Books
purchase,
will always betray you.
spirits are lifted, and purpose is made clear.
I stunned their entire party. There should be like an achievement for that.
Impressive.
Obliterated. How quickly the tide turns.
Alright, that was almost really bad. Still has the potential to be, honestly. Alright, now we're going. Off of death's door, young man.
Precision and power.
And now the true test. Hold fast.
It would have been slightly hilarious if he died to the wine toss.
Sedated. Be wary.
Triumphant pride precipitates a dizzying fall.
Alright. We have to backtrack. The end of the quest isn't up there. I'm considering just bailing. I only have one bounty hunter. And, it's quite the useful class to have. At this point, I'm just being stubborn. I figure at least one of them has to be desiccated and uninteresting. That would be a net gain.
Wealth beyond measure. Awarded to the brave and the foolhardy alike. The light, the promise of safety. Well struck.
As long as they don't attack the bounty hunter. I feel like we have a reasonable chance to get through this more or less unscathed. Warding most foul.
Masterfully executed.
Alright, this probably won't actually succeed in moving. But it does the damage so that he dies to blight.
As life ebbs, terrible vistas of emptiness reveal themselves.
The way to look at it is that in this game, you're basically invincible, as long as you have somebody to heal between actions. Oh my god, stop!
Perched at the very precipice of oblivion.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Compassion is a rarity in the fevered pitch of battle. Success so clearly in view. Or is it merely a trick of the light?
Oh, hell no. Hell to the no.
Finding the stuff is only the first test. Now it must be carried home.
The only thing that I desire at this moment in time is to leave. Alright, we're almost there. We got at maximum 2 more fights.
Glittering gold, trinkets and baubles. Paid for in blood.
Beast Bile doing work today. Gargoyles look really cool in this game, but they don't, like, do anything. They're quite unthreatening, really.
Prodigious size alone does not dissuade the sharpened blade.
We know that the last fight, if there is a fight, is in this room. So we can toss the food. Alright, nobody died, miraculously. I really need you guys to stop catching scurvy.
The shuffling dead are silenced. We have claimed dominion over the ruins once more.
Goddard has gone on a personal vision quest. Cidiomania can be pretty annoying. There are a lot of curios related to food in mysterious ways. Alright, perfect. We can fight the Gibbering Prophet. Actually, is that wise? I like to have the man-at-arms for this fight. But we do... Alright. Let's live dangerously. For now, Renault's primary purpose is actually just going to be stress heal and tanking. So I think I'll actually give him Barristan's head. Marcy gets the Necromancer's Collar and the Cudgelweight. Painel gets this combo. Okay, we have enough self-healing and healing in this party that HP is not a concern. We also have plenty of ways to reach the back line, so I don't think Eldritch Demon's Pull is necessary. Gonna upgrade a couple skills before we leave. For good measure. We want plenty of anti-venom because the Prophet does like to blight. Holy water is similarly also useful. And I'll take the Aegis scales, just in case. They're very useful in situations where you know you're going to take damage.
Finally, resigned to his uncommon corporeal resilience, I lured him to the dig. There, I showed him the thing, and detailed the full extent of my plans. Triumphantly, I watched as he tore his eyes from their sockets, and ran shrieking into the shadows, wailing maniacally that the end was upon us all. The echoes of his mindless tittering reverberate maddeningly.
Marks don't stack, but I did want to get the minus dodge debuff on him. Because these guys are obnoxiously evasive on champion. Stop! It's fair. Well, at least he has like 80% stun resist now.
Prodigious size alone does not dissuade the sharpened blade. As the fiend falls, a faint hope blossoms. Even the cold stone seems bent on preventing passage. Glittering gold, trinkets and baubles, paid for in blood.
Honestly, I want to get through this boss as quickly as possible. I'm not going to ditch anything.
Destroyed.
annihilated.
God, Renald has like 30% protection. That's kind of nuts.
Continue the onslaught. Destroy them all.
As the light gains purchase, spirits are lifted, and purpose is made clear. Confidence surges as the enemy crumbles.
Depending on how the fight with the Prophet goes, I might just come back and pick up all this stuff on my way out.
A handsome reward for a task well performed.
In Radiance, may we find victory. Press this advantage.
Alright, well that's the
Give them no
Bone
quarter.
Bearer dead. I'm quite pleased with that result. I believe that we have talked about this before, but Houndmasters are very strong, even if you take multiples. Honestly, especially if you take multiples, they synergize really well with each other.
Their formation is broken. Maintain the offensive.
Solstice, you gotta get a dog. Dog will never betray you. Honestly, if you ask me,
These nightmarish creatures can be felled.
I
They
think
can
that the
be
Houndmaster should get bonus damage against skeletons, because they're made out of bones.
monster's size has no intrinsic merit, unless inordinate exsanguination be considered a virtue.
Fire the dog cannon. I could just use a bandage, but I'm very stubborn.
This expedition at least promises success. The way is lit. The path is clear. We require only the strength to follow it.
I have to fight through an entire damn army.
Eradicated.
Debuff that guy so he doesn't murder anybody in one shot. Get him in the face with a sword. Pathetic! Get out of my sight!
Mortality clarified in a single strike.
That can clarify your ass in a single strike.
A victory. Perhaps the turning point.
Seize this momentum. Push on to the task's end.
Alright, I probably don't need the torches. Alright, next room battle I'll probably camp. Renauld is basically just a stun bot at the moment. Slow rolls, they're killing me. They're killing me.
Decimated.
This guy is a 2-size enemy, so I might spend some time healing against him. His damage potential is not especially high. Especially if I just stun him.
Sedated. Ringing ears. Blurred vision. The end approaches.
Of course, the problem with having a character with such high health is that it takes forever to heal them back up.
Dazed. Reeling. About to break.
Alright, fuck it, I'm just gonna kill him. Or not. Please die. Thank you.
Soothed. Sedated.
Holy shit, that's a lot of gold.
Be wary. Triumphant pride precipitates a dizzying fall.
A moment of respite. A chance to steel oneself against the coming horrors.
Alright, we're back to pretty much full capacity, and we have a minus stress buff to boot. We should be in good shape to take on the boss. Only one fight between there and here, which is good.
The light, the promise of safety.
Okay, before I go into the boss, there is one important thing that I need to do.
Grievous injury. Palpable fear.
One off. Fucking grumbling.
Success so clearly in view. Or is it merely a trick of the light?
Stunning will do jack and shit in this boss fight, so I'm switching the Blackjack off for Guard Dog. I also don't think we'll have stress problems, so I'm switching Cry Havoc with Guard Dog.
The madman hides there, behind the pews, spouting his mindless drivel.
So we fought the Prophet before, and the Gibbering Prophet on Champion difficulty is not much different. He does his whole calamitous prognostication bullshit, but he's doing it on my tankiest member, so who cares? Renald is mostly in this fight here to look pretty. Potentially absorb some blows. I mean, no, he prophesized their end, you idiot. Basically, the occultist will heal, the Hound Masters will launch their dogs. And Renald will raise his shiny banner.
Struck. A blazing star is born. Such a terrible assault cannot be left unanswered.
That stun sucks. That stun double sucks. You can kill the pews for money, but I'm rich at this point and I don't care. If I consume the doggy treats, I should be able to just fucking kill him. One off!
Death waits for the slightest lapse in concentration. And now the true test. Hold fast or expire. Did he foresee his own demise? I care not, so long as he remains dead.
Alright, well, they're both brink of death and about to die, so let's just go back to town. The trophy for defeating the champion Prophet is the Prophet's Eye. It gives you plus 15 accuracy, plus 3 speed, and minus 15 stress if you're in the 4th position. So it's great for like an Arbalest or a healer. I especially like it on the Plague Doctor if you have nothing else to put on her.
In time, you will know the tragic extent of my failings.
God, at this point, I do not give a shit about the Shrieker. This isn't even that good. Alright, the only boss we have left is the Sodden Crew. So we'll need to go into the cove. But we're just about out of time, so we don't really have time for a long mission. Thanks for watching, as always. Tomorrow I am going to do my very best to finish the game. I think it's possible. We might have to go extra innings to do it, but we really only have a couple things left. I might do some extracurricular activities later tonight, just to make sure that we are well positioned to kill the Sodden Crew and go straight into the Darkest Dungeon. Because I do want, like, a fully operational Man-at-Arms for the first mission there. But that is for later, so I'll talk to y'all tomorrow, and see you then.